All right, we tried.
Fuck it, I didn't even hit record to fucking clap the thing, so now I'm gonna I'll still figure it out.
Yeah, it should work.
I didn't. I clapped and I just stared at my non-recording. It's recording now.
All right, so to open with, everyone's always asked, where were you when 9/11 happened? And the question today is, where were you when the coup happened? I watched Soul.
Can I wish everyone a happy Coups Day? Even though
Happy
it's Wednesday?
Tuesday, everybody.
Happy coup year?
Happy Coup Year! Ooh, I like
Coup Year.
I like Happy Coup Year. That's good.
3, 2, 1. Hopefully that wasn't a bomb. Happy Coup Year.
Yes, we're Happy New Yearing? I went and got a beer. What happened?
Happy
on
Coup Year, everybody.
Year.
Happy Coup Year.
Happy Coup Year. Oh my, okay, that was good. See, I missed something good.
Happy Coup Year,
Happy
everybody.
Coup Year, indeed. So,
All right, so
Coup
let's
Year
try it
is...
again. We'll do it again. One more time. Three,
Three,
two,
two.
1.
Happy Coup Year.
We need to make a Happy Coup Year shirt where it's like a Christmas sweater design, but it's like somebody not in a tank because that would look like something that's effective.
Yeah, no, like someone maybe I don't know what's benign but coup-ish.
Capital
Pigeons.
Oh, there you
Anti-Castro pigeons.
Castro
Just like
pigeons.
someone wearing a shirt like I don't understand large numbers. That's how the coup works, I guess.
Yeah, apparently.
Why can't pi be 4?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. So this is going to sound like I'm being a shithead, but some people on our podcast, I'm not going to name some names, have been slacking when it comes to introducing new segments. So I would like to introduce a new segment. And it's called Cancel Corner. We're going to find out who this week has either fucked up or deserves ire or received ire and blah, blah, blah. So it's really hard to talk about. We had a whole plan of what we were going to do today. And then a
Happy
calling
coup
it
year.
a coup attempt.
A coup.
Yeah,
A
we had
coup happens.
a coup. A really, it's not funny because someone has already been fucking shot. So it's like, don't mistake our laughing for thinking this is all a joke. It's not. But what the hell reaction are you supposed to have to this insanity?
Oh,
we just watched the cops kill people, and then people go and have protests in the streets, and they approached a Wendy's, and they're like, oh, we better batten down this rando government building like it's Fort Knox. And then apparently, if you believe that Trump actually won the election, you can just walk into the Senate chamber, and
Only
the
if you're
cops
white.
won't stop you at all.
Only if you're white.
Dragor, what could be the explanation for
White.
this phenomenon?
Racism. Systemic fucking racism. Top down. That's it. There's no discussion. Done.
This is happening in real time as we're recording this. We're an hour past them the videos of the people keep saying the Proud Boys. There's way too many. There aren't actually that many Proud Boys in the whole country. Rando people who think the president. I'm at a loss for words. Somebody else summarize the situation.
Okay.
Well, apparently
About
there's enough to
1,000.
take over the Senate.
Yeah.
Well, there's
They almost left the fucking ballots for the
Yeah.
certification count.
Oh, shit.
They did
feels
get
like
them.
This feels like a Harry Potter thing where there's the
Okay.
magic items that
All
makes
right.
the president
yes.
the president. It's fucking him winning the election is what would be no, it's
So-
America, and him winning the election doesn't make him win the election. Actually,
we
Go for it,
need to
Gregor.
find his Horcrux.
That's what it fucking feels like. They
Twitter
think we
is a
have to find the
Horcrux. That's why we
Horcruxes.
have to cancel him. Facebook is a Horcrux. It's why we have to cancel him. Here's what happened. A bunch of these people that basically were told to stand by whatever months ago during that debate or what have you, the 1,000 that heard it have descended upon D.C. They are not organized at all. They're just kind of fucking doing it. That is not why I personally am calling it a coup. I'm calling it a coup because the people that are evil and have brains are going to try to make this an opportunity.
Well,
That's
they're chanting
the scary
"Stop the
part.
steal." The protest's message is, quote, "Stop the steal." These are people who genuinely, I guess, I don't know, you can't prove what people believe, but the point of the protest is supposedly that they think Trump actually won, in fact, right?
Based on 0 reproducible evidence. It is just a
yeah.
feeling. It is not more than a feeling. It is just a feeling.
Nobody
we
listening to
got you,
this
Phil
podcast
Collins.
thinks the president like secretly won. I'm assuming. Oh, by the way, before we get ahead of ourselves, the other voice you were hearing today, we have Chris the Comedy Bunny with us.
Hi,
Say
everyone.
hello.
Chris.
Hi, Chris. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Chris.
Okay, thank you. Hi, Pepper.
If you have, yes.
I
Hi,
went-
Dragor.
I got asked to be on,
Yeah.
and because you were like, "Hey, let's talk about Soul," and that's kind of like my one thing, talking about cartoons. And then today, I kind of texted everyone, going, "So are we still talking about Soul?"
The cops are fighting the Proud Boys in the streets of D.C. Are we still talking about this Pixar movie?
I
like-
tell you what, it was really surreal watching that while a coup was going on.
Xander watched it with me while the coup's going on. I'm getting updates and like we're talking about the updates on the Senate floor. Like I was watching this movie. I was watching a Pixar movie when I saw a picture of one of these white supremacist shitheads sitting in Nancy Pelosi's chair, which by the way, still, fuck Nancy Pelosi.
Oh,
but like
that's what office that was? Okay, that picture makes more
he
sense.
was in Nancy Pelosi's thing, like kicking up.
If you swap that guy out with like a person of my choosing, I'm completely behind that picture. But like,
Okay. So here's the sinister thing: is him being a wacky fucknut with that hat is purposeful, and they do that so you take him less seriously. It's like calling the KKK a Grand Dragon and shit like that. They're like, "Oh, it's okay. He's an idiot." Because he's being funny and lets you laugh it off. It's a
it's the
fucking
just
technique.
joking
Oh,
evolved.
it is.
Sorry, can I? You opened with the segment. Can I name drop the thing I want to bring up?
Do it.
oh well, let me like just okay. We're not the reason we're not going into super huge detail about this coup attempt kind of that's happening right now is like it's happening right now, and if we say a bunch of stuff about it, then this podcast comes out even tomorrow. Everything we say is going to be wrong,
Yeah.
because we'll have like various contexts and videos. So we're not gonna like try to dissect the actual coup itself right now
Yeah.
because it's kind of pointless. But we want to acknowledge that it's happening, and it's kind of freaking us all out in different ways.
Well, because it's fucking nanners, like hands
yeah,
down.
it is
it's
pretty fucking nanners.
It's fucking nanners, and it's worth acknowledging that. Yeah.
The cops showed up to this protest in like jeans and t-shirts, and now they're having to defend themselves. And it's like, oh fuck, this is the situation we thought the people who just chant and hold signs at us, the anti-fascists, people who want greater human rights, they show up to that shit like they're in the Iron Man Mark III suit. And then they show up to the actual violent protest where they invade the Capitol building in like fucking board shorts and visors. Like, what's up, bro? Oh no!
I thought we were just gonna have a couple of brews.
I thought we were friends. Okay, so Dragor, I want to talk about what you want to talk about, because right now the Twitter response I've seen that is fucking hysterical. Like the thing trending was the word deactivate with like 500,000 tweets, and I'm like, oh, are people seriously acting like the solution to this active in-person physical coup is to delete the president's Twitter account?
I don't
and
think that's the
where
argument.
the conversation starts.
I don't think that's
No.
where. I don't think that's the argument. Go ahead, Drager.
Well, that's what I said online, and that's
That
the thing
is
that
what
people
you said,
have.
and what Xander and I are
umbrage
countering with
with.
is twofold: the new people coming in, and that for as off base as it is, you're essentially dealing, or it is true, you're dealing with an actual cult, and he is the demagogue. And the easier access any of the people who are bought into that cult that they have to him is going to continue to incense and radicalize them. It is, to me, a genuine safety measure to shut that fucker up and make it as hard as possible for his voice to get out. One person's died already. It's a person I don't give a fuck for from, like, being a Trumper, but a human died, and I'm not okay with that. And that is in part because of the rhetoric that is publicly out there and is being basically false equivalencyed into being valid in some way, no matter if he has 88 million followers or not. The ease of access to that message is part of the problem.
There's like two conversations going on at once here. And by the way, this is Cancel Corner. This is it's a very intense first installment of our first episode of my first potential joke segment of Cancel Corner. So the two conversations going on are, I think, one is like, should the president be removed from Twitter? Are the things he is like tweeting and putting out into the public harmful? Mm-hmm. And in that sense, I say, yes, I think what he says is harmful. And if he was removed from all platforms on the whole internet, I certainly would not be out here like, put him back on Twitter. I don't want that. That's not what I want.
Can we focus on your original argument, though?
Yeah, this other I think that's one conversation. I think the other conversation is the efficacy. Like, does removing him from X platform work? And I claim No. Well, I should say definitely not at this point, and definitely not in 2020.
So define what do you mean by work? What is work? What is your qualifications for working? What will be a success of taking him off Twitter for you?
I'm going to try really hard not to strawman anybody. I'm not going to try to make an argument you guys aren't making, but I'm assuming all of our shared goals of getting the president off of any platform are to limit his reach and limit the harm that he can do to just, our political system, to stop the growth of American fascism, aka Trumpism. And I believe in that goal also. I want those things to happen. But I look at what ideologues have done in the past to kind of, like, we've deplatformed. If you ask a big chunk of Twitter, they assume Milo Yiannopoulos has just been shot into the sun or something, like he's just gone, or that Alex Jones has been put underground like a mole person.
And can we at least acknowledge that they are way less than they are now?
I think they are far, far less visible to us.
Does that matter?
Does it matter if they're less visible to us? I would say no.
And everyone.
They are not less visible to everyone, because the people who are sensitive and receptive to their message still are very able to find their opinions, still able to be directed by them, still able to send them support, and still able to keep their operation going. So if your goals of deplatforming are to stop their reach, stop their influence, stop what they're doing from being profitable, because in those two cases, like Milo and Alex, it's a grift. It's money. If they made zero money doing what they do, they would just stop because they don't really believe in the shit they say. Maybe Alex Jones believes that, aliens control the government, whatever the hell he believes. But it's the brain force plus that he sells off the back of that.
It's not their only thing, but it is their best thing that they have.
Does anybody in this call believe that if Milo and Alex or people like them suddenly made $0 off saying this shit, that they would just still be out there saying it?
No, and I never made that argument.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
I
you're
argue
arguing with no one.
that if part of the goals of deplatforming is to remove resources from these people, which anti-fascists on the internet definitely are trying to do. That's why we get these rando Nazi groups kicked off PayPal, kicked off Patreon. Those do a little more because then they got to go use whatever the hell Pay Nazi or Nazi Pal or whatever the fuck to get their funds.
So I will actually argue a little bit. Many of them would drop off, but at this point, I think things have evolved a little bit past money in that, as Xander always says,
For the president, yes.
Yes, we're
just
talking
him.
about the amount of people we're reaching, and I don't care who you talk about. I know YouTube links. The amount of clicks matters. The amount of pipeline, as far as access to message work. Go ahead. Brandon.
Yes, there is a non-directly correlated $ attention economy that would still be there. I think the misconception is if they made zero money for it, but still had an audience somehow, that yes, it absolutely would be reduced, perhaps by a shit ton, but no, I don't think it would go away either, because look at their fan base and how they behave. It's the same thing. They're perpetuating all of the same things. It's just kind of the grift of the ones at the absolute top that do get the money in any way, be it through book deals or they're, partnered with, you got to buy your guns. You take away the money, go to our gay space socialism. This problem still exists because the attention economy will still be there.
Yeah.
I think it will be less exaggerated if capitalism weren't there.
If I may cut in a little,
Go ahead.
because I agree with Pepper in that, like I said, I don't think Pepper or I would disagree that taking away someone's microphone makes it harder for their message to carry. That's not what's there's no doubt that's exactly what taking him off of Twitter would do. The problem is at this point, it doesn't matter. Trump could die and it wouldn't matter. That would
What? Are you kidding me? You are so
true.
wrong.
He could.
Dude, you do not understand how conservatives think. I grew up with these people. You do not know how conservatives think. It so matters if he died. Holy shit.
No, I'm saying it wouldn't
I grew
matter.
up with these people. Dragger, help me out here.
I'm saying that if Trump died, all he would become is a martyr. He would just become more of a Jesus.
But
and
No, you're
he would
wrong.
become a martyr only to
you're
that
so
crowd
wrong.
that's dying out. And whoever were to replace or take up the mantle does not guaranteed get his audience.
Yeah, because they're not as good as wielding, and you can't Donald Trump is a perfect storm of that rich guy that people can point to and say he's the success story against government control of what we're pointing to of conservatism done well, that idea. And it's hard to say, oh, Tucker Carlson's just gonna take and run with it. You can't guarantee that because he is not the same ingredients of Donald Trump. Like you can't just say
personality.
I'm not saying that in the long run. I'm saying in the immediate. The idea that right now, this concept of like deactivating his Twitter, it's not going to make anyone in the Senate go home. It's not going to stop anything in the next fucking week. It would over a course of time do something. And that's where I agree with Pepper in that if it were 2016, I would completely agree with like, yeah, fucking get him off Twitter when you can affect the groundswell. But like with Alex Jones, he just becomes forbidden information that people who want to get to that information will. It makes him more enticing because he got kicked off of a platform. It's that morbid curiosity in the human mind that makes you seek out that information. It's why technically there's no such thing as bad press does get perpetuated as a statement, because
we all assume he's going to start his news network
Absolutely.
next, right? Like when he becomes not president, he's going to have some kind of information thing, right? What the heck would be better for him kicking off a news network than, here's the news that was too hot for Twitter. We've been banned from Facebook. You got to buy it here, $9.99 a month, Trump NN. Like it would only help him, I think, if we get real down to it.
It would help him make more money. He would reach less people. That's what I think would happen.
Am I right in saying that you think the greatest harm is reaching more people?
Yeah.
Because for me, it seems like it's between, is the greater harm reaching more people, or is the greater harm accumulating more power? And money and power are almost the same thing within our particular economic
all right.
system.
So let me play the what if game. Alex Jones gets a lot of money, but how much does Alex Jones have enough to lobby and change policy? It's that old Chris Rock bit. There's a difference between rich and wealthy.
Yep.
They're rich.
He has social power, but not institutional power. Trump has institutional and social power. And that is why I think that deplatforming him is basically impossible in the year 2021.
Oh, God.
All right, here's my flip side of the thing we haven't addressed.
The only way you can cancel a president is if you're Lee Harvey Oswald.
I would say that the definition of deplatforming is loose, and that we were talking about less people being reached than more. We're talking. It's a matter of false equivalency. That is our main problem with what you're saying, Pepper. False equivalency.
Yeah, but we just followed an election where more people voted for him than any other Republican presidential candidate anyway. Like the cat's just already, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, I guess is my argument. I don't disagree that putting his message in front of fewer people wouldn't be
So can we
good.
stop more toothpaste from coming out?
Well, yeah, sure, but it's like we're 2 weeks away from him stopping being the president anyway.
Oh, so might as well not try. Yeah, I got it.
I would say the effort for Twitter to just shut him the fuck off or any of these platforms is low effort and worth doing.
It's fucking Jack, though. Like, when you actually want to go about doing things on specifically Twitter, it's one guy, Jack Dorsey, the guy who won't kick, like, actual literal neo-Nazis off his platform. He's definitely not making some big, like, oh, I've seen the light, and now we will run the company totally differently. Definitely not before the end of January. I think in 2016, like, Twitter is only seen as important as it is. Like, Twitter, in the grand scheme of things, is really not a huge platform. Like, compared to Facebook, nobody's on fucking Twitter. It's only important because of the president. The president kind of forced... So Jack's in this weird situation where, should I kick off the guy almost single-handedly responsible for the relevance of my entire fuck company? Because the real problem is capital.
Can I say hold on, before you say anything, Pepper.
Socialist Corner.
If he does kick him off, then it will, because he will say, okay, he's going to burn down the whole fucking system. We got to take him off. That is when you know he thinks, okay, it's time now. Because that's what all these fuckers are doing. That's what the $2,000 in the mail is. What's the least amount we can do from the system burning down? And that's what Jack will do with that decision of taking Trump off Twitter.
To engage a capitalist's sense of self-preservation, shit has got to be real bad.
All right, so here's a topic that we haven't brought up on this whole thing that matters to me as an individual, and that's, all right, fine, you're not going to change any minds, but there are a lot of people like me that don't even want to hear it because it doesn't matter. Like, it literally is just a negative force or a negative idea. It's the equivalent of some bigot screaming fag at me in my ear. I don't care. Like, it's not that I don't care they're going to keep doing it, but holy shit, it's different if I have to hear it in my face.
Yeah.
Like, I know they're out there. I know the racists and bigots are out there. But you know what's worse than that? When they're in my face. And this is an aspect of canceling or deplatforming that, to me, I feel like gets lost in the conversation a lot. And that's why I always try to frame it as harm reduction. How many of us are out there just don't even, like, it's psychic harm to continually be exposed to it.
Yeah, I don't even disagree.
And Twitter's an everything platform. So yes, you can curate and do all of this stuff, but it is built in such a way, and by extension, our capitalist media and the false equivalency of continuing to bring it up, like, I see tangible value still today. If he were to get shut off today, now, that is a good thing. Even if long term it is not that impactful.
Hold on. I think Chris has felt a lot of hate in the street just for who they are or who she is. So maybe you have something to say about this, Chris.
Okay, so like, here's the thing. I totally understand what you're saying, Dragor, and I completely agree with it. And the idea of not having that information is a great thing to have. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. But the importance of it is, one, scope, and two, the other aspect of it is, what the fuck am I thinking of? War. Okay, so all right. So
yeah,
the
war,
first,
of course.
I might have ate a gummy a little.
What is it good for?
Money.
You'll find out at 5. Okay.
Making profits. I'll never forget.
but-
Fucking Man-Cow had a war. What is good for? Taking out dictators. Oh yeah, that's what I grew up with.
Oh, no.
Fuck.
Poorly aged messages.
Right?
Right? Okay.
Installing dictators.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Woo. Okay, so point 1 though, scope. The idea is if I were to be told by someone I happen to see on the side of the street, like, hey, tranny, fucking you have a dick, right? Like, that means you're a man. Like, if someone were to insult me in some way on the street at a random interval, that would be something that slams into me and it would freak me out. But the other fact is that guy most likely travels that street about as often as I do or close to it, because we exist in a smaller reality than we do. And then with the concept of the internet, the idea of our mental social circle becomes much larger, but not our physical one. So the important, not being our physical one is one of the key factors there, because it's technically mental, you can find ways to curate it. You can find ways to manage it, but it does come down to you being able to be like, okay, stopping. But when it comes to, but also that dude's just like a dude. And like, chances are he can be as racist as he wants, but he's like a shop worker. So his actual power to affect my day-to-day life is minimal.
As opposed to if they were like a senator or something.
Yes, someone with a lot of social power. So the idea of...
All right, wait. I gotta bring up something there, because this is the story that, like, when I went to college, I heard the following over and over. If that's just a dude saying that, and it's not going to that deeply affect you, the individual, like, good. Like, I don't want people to get riled up or hurt like that. But when I was reciting the Lisa Lampanelli joke, and I said, I recited it verbatim, I wasn't intending to cause harm to anyone, but holy shit, that slur, fag, was in there, and a kid basically damn near had a panic attack, because before coming to college, that was screamed at him while he was getting the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
So, like, the harm of language, I don't even mean Trump saying, like, we're going to go invade some country, rah, rah. I mean, like, the actual hateful things that happen day to day, that for a lot of people carries harm to the individual that is real.
You're
No,
actually,
I'm not trying to...
you're actually
completely-
hitting on something interesting of using, you know, how some people use that language for what they think is humor or being like light. We saw the other side of that when it was turned into Bean Dad, and he was being an asshole for comedic effect in that same way. We saw how that can be misinterpreted. You know what I'm saying? Or no?
This is great. This is the segue I want. It's not even a change of conversation. It's just introducing the topic because I want to talk about
related.
Cancel culture has more than one person. Cancel corner has more than one person in it this week. It has many people. So we're gonna go from big to small. So now we're gonna take a step down from the literal president of America to let's talk about Bean Dad.
Bean Dad.
Bean Dad is the second canceled person in our thing today.
Yeah.
Here's a brief introduction. If you've ever heard of the McElroys or My Brother and Me, which is a very popular podcast and a marginally popular television show that is no longer exists, but it was pretty funny. They have a theme song, and the guy who happens to sing their theme song, it's a band, whatever. I'm not even saying names. Hey, fucking deplatform. Don't even use. I just don't use people's names or bands. So the guy who did their theme song, sings in the band that does their theme song, had a thread on Twitter where they, to very briefly summarize, their young child daughter was like, "I want to open this can of beans," and he's like, "Here's the can opener. Good luck. Deal with it." And then he proceeds to do like 50 tweets where he talks about how he didn't help his daughter do the can opener.
It was a teaching lesson that was dramatized.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that was like whatever. But and then
The
people were
outrage
like,
around that, I think, was I don't want to say overblown, because if you live in an abusive household where that style of thing, even for humor, affects you, losing the context of that and presenting it as what happened, that started it. But Pepper, what came out after that?
So I would complain about this because this is what I imagine everyone does every time I have a bad opinion is they start Twitter searching my handle with every slur they can think of to see if I've used it or not. And with this guy, ooh, there were a lot
N-word,
of results.
throw in blaming Jews, quote unquote, comedically for random things.
Whoa.
Basically
Some
an
of those-
edgelord, but now in his 40s.
So he was like an old guy making these. But yeah, some of these I look at, I'm like, okay, you only see it's a reply to something. Like maybe this is, I guess, a joke, but ooh, this is not the kind of joke you should be making fucking
Also,
anywhere.
Just a quick one. There were a few of his some of his shittier tweets, but they were from like a month ago. So like there were still
Yeah.
a few
month
that were worth a couple of them. Not like some of the weird ones that clearly were like, "Oh dude, early internet," like verbatim tone wise, but like some of the more like nuancy dad ones that you're like, "Dad, shut up." Like
This dude was a 4channer in his younger days.
yeah,
had to
and
be
now
one.
he has a
Absolutely.
child. Yeah.
They run from like 2010 to, like you said, a month ago. Doesn't
Yeah.
look good for this particular person.
So like I said,
And-
no doubt he never did any soul searching in his life. I have no like he never truly learned the meaning of like helping people.
And
but,
yet, what actually made him soul search was getting fucking ratioed on Twitter.
oh yeah, hard. Which
Yeah.
I mean, who knows if he
That
actually soul
has
searched?
that has value, I think. Call me crazy.
No, totally, it does have value. Again, but that's part of that scope thing that I brought up. The idea is
Yeah.
you can affect him because he's just like a dad. Like he has his
He's
blue
a
check.
cruise ship worker.
Yeah.
And as a former amusement park worker, as soon as I saw that people were fucking like his cruise ship was going, we need to make a statement. I'm like, oh no, this guy makes $20K a year.
No, yeah,
Works
like
on a fucking cruise ship.
yeah, he is just like a guy. Like
He's
I said,
just
it's
a guy.
yeah, it's and like I said, what could Bean Dad truly do with the like given like what are the equivalent of Bean Dad's keys to the castle? Because again, he would have not been relevant even slightly in 2 days.
Oh, he's
Well-
definitely. I'm definitely on like the shithead end of the spectrum. Looking at what he's like, I'm not gonna try to defend.
Yeah, he's not
fucking
actually a
anything this
good
guy
person.
said.
There is, yeah, I completely agree with you. He's not a good person. He's still,
no.
just a shitty dad. But like,
Can I make a bold thing
Oh, say
here?
whatever you
Sure, go
want.
for it.
yeah, man.
So, all right, Pepper, we've talked about it. I'm only going to talk about myself. There was a period of time, and like, I can only say how ashamed I am of it, but it's what happened. I was a form of that edgelord. Mm-hmm. I would non sequitur slurs to get reactions.
We
Like
grew up
in
with
my
Carlin
head, I
and,
never said
Bill Hicks.
anything
Dragger,
with hate
Dragger?
around it.
Dragger, I'm going to explode if I don't say non sequitur slurs. Okay.
Non sequitur. But no, like that was my thing. I grew up, basically I latched on to George Carlin and Lenny Bruce, and like, oh, free speech. I very much was like, free speech is the holy grail of for everything that's wrong in this country that you can't get thrown in jail for that is really important. And I took it upon myself to get my reactions, get my outrage. It was fun for me, and I was not seeing the harm, and there absolutely was. So I have learned, if I met me from back then, I might break my vow of pacifism and punch me in the fucking face going, you're causing harm, dipshit, cut it out.
Oh, yeah,
So
totally.
I don't want to say that Bean Dad is genuinely an unredeemable bad person, but wow, out of context, when he responds to someone who says, oh, the ice cream wasn't that good here, and he's like, yeah, I blame the Jews. Like, I get where the comic voice is coming from, but I also get why that's horrible.
It's like you can't walk around talking like a late 90s South Park script at all times.
That was
Turns out
me.
it
That was
isn't
me,
cool.
man.
Yeah, no,
Shit
like
is not going to win you friends.
it really is. It just like cargo shorts. It's just bad.
Oh, what is with hating on cargo shorts? They're utility, you
man.
fucks.
I don't hate cargo shorts. I do
shorts
like
have been
making fun
canceled,
of them. I
speaking
still
of
wear
which.
them.
I enjoy making fun of them. I grew up in the Midwest, man. Poor in the Midwest. There's a certain I see cargo shorts and it really bums me out.
Oh, yeah, I had zip-off cargo pants. So I had cargo pants and shorts same time.
Yeah, motherfucker. And like, you actually ever kept the pants part?
Ooh, I tried really hard.
Yeah, man, you try for a little while and you're like, oh god, it's gonna disappear again. You either don't want to ever unzip it because it's the worst fucking zip ever, or you just fucking whatever. They're shorts now forever. I don't care.
Can we name this episode the pants part?
The pants.
part.
Oh God, no! I'm
definitely-
sorry. It's gonna be Happy Coup Year. I'm sorry.
Happy
New
Year.
Year. But what
Is a
about
good
racial? What about non sequistors?
I mean, there's so many.
We've peaked already. We're only halfway through the episode. I definitely received from my mom shorts that when I inspected them were simply zip-off pants that did not have the pants.
Yeah, man.
And I'm like, Mom, you didn't get these new.
Mom, these are
No way.
Mom, these
There's
are
no way that
secondhand.
there's no way that Value City sold you the top half of some zip-off pants.
Man,
Okay, wait.
I remember when jean shorts were canceled by Time.
Yes, but
Time
time
and
is
fashion.
also Lazarus and will resurrect it 20
I
to
hope.
30 years later.
The denim rebirth. Denim is back, baby.
Can we call that one of our 2020, like the decade of the 20s? Like shorts will come back in a big way.
Yes.
As
the
a
thing
furry
we
in the
didn't-
furry fandom, they never left.
All right, let's talk
The
about
thing
Bean
we-
Dad.
Well, so the thing we didn't talk about Bean Dad
Yeah, what else about Bean
was
Dad?
Jonathan Coulton
Yes.
and
Oh, yep.
Ken Jennings. Jonathan Coulton, I didn't realize they did a podcast
Cruise ships.
together and the cruise ship
dudes
thing.
know each other.
Ken Jennings has a little bit of a history of coming full through with like, oh, you sure look nice, but some of those Mormon ideas are still there, buddy.
Holy shit! Did you guys see that fucking image with all the Bible and all the trans and gay outside of the Bible? Like,
Was that Ken-
as the
Ken
evil?
Jennings?
Oh, it was related to Ken. I think yeah, it was going around Ken Jennings.
Ken tweeting wild
I don't
shit.
think it was. I think it was associated with him, but not, with all
I
the
just-
religious stuff.
If you asked me to pick a human who is like mildly famous, whose opinions I give the absolute least shit about, it's probably Ken Jennings.
What if he becomes
Okay,
the official
wait,
voice
wait.
of Amazon Robot? Go ahead,
So
Dragger.
I've seen this happen with the same thing happen with Ken Jennings is the same thing I see regular people do with South Park. Mm-hmm. So let's go back to the South Park example. Are you okay, Chris?
I'm sorry.
No.
Just Pepper's vehement, like, not hatred for his apathy.
don't care.
His
not
fucking
even-
chaotic apathy toward Ken.
I don't care at all what the fuck
You
Ken
don't,
Jennings
but
ever
Joe
has
Schmo
to say.
Does.
Joe
I'm not making that
Schmo
argument.
does
I'm not
because
saying you're
Ken
dumb for
Jennings was
reading
given a
Ken Jennings'
platform to essentially prove
By being the best at Jeopardy?
Yes.
But the way Jeopardy is portrayed, the way the aura is, you laugh. You
I'm
mean
not
to
laughing
fucking
because-
tell
the
me
way
there
you
isn't some
think I
Joe
am.
Schmo who hears a Ken Jennings thing? It's like, oh yeah, that guy's really smart.
No, no,
As
no,
like
no,
an
no,
authoritative
They do.
reason.
I completely
Yes, sir,
agree.
they do.
I
I'm not
completely
laughing
agree
for you
that
today.
Jeopardy is the smart game show.
It is.
It is, dude.
just like-
Comment, laugh as much as you want on
Yeah.
it, but like
I'm
that
laughing
is
for a
a
different reason.
population that is bought into
No,
it.
I completely agree.
I agree with Dragger here, man.
Let me tell you why I'm laughing. I'm just imagining someone being like, guys, like I used to think that black people have the same amount of humanity as white people, but then, the grand champion of Family Feud, he fucking opened my eyes.
Dude, that's the world we live in today.
Family Feud
I'm
is
not
not
even
presented that
shitting
way.
You.
So,
He's in a
the
fucking...
Wheel of Fortune grand champion.
Wheel
Yeah,
of
now-
Fortune is not presented that way.
Hey, can I just say that I'm not happy the host of Family Feud is piece of shit Steve Harvey, and he has
Oh my
continued
God,
to
it
hurt
is.
people by being the Family Feud host, and that's how he's hurt people with his shitty views.
I do believe that getting Steve Harvey kicked off Family Feud would do more good to America than getting Trump off.
Thank you.
I think it would have. I'm not even being an asshole right now. I really do think that more people be like, "Wait, what's up with Steve Harvey?" And they'd read about it and go, "Ah, fuck him."
They're willing to walk away from that hill. They're like, ah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, no.
No one's gonna die on the Steve Harvey hill. They'll die
You know
on
what
the
I
Trump hill.
still hear
maybe.
today?
What's that?
I still hear people do the South Park. Are you not allowed to say fag?
Oh.
I know people in my life right now that I care about, that I know they are not inherently bad people, that still today, if they get called out on saying fag, they're like, oh no, I'm not making fun of gay fags. Like, that's cool. It's just fag, word.
Oh, no.
That's
Because
cool.
and their argument is, we went over this. South Park solved it.
Here,
Like,
I need to
unironically.
share a quick story. After I came out, before I came out, my dad would regularly say fagulas about any guys who he hated. And after
That's
I
basically
did,
the
he
Jewish
stopped.
version of saying, same
Yeah,
thing.
and
God damn it,
after
Pepper.
he stopped using it because he knew that was a bad thing to do.
Was
So-
it?
Like, the old one was, when someone said that's gay, the common response was like, homosexual gay or 4chan gay? And the response always be, it's like, no, 4chan gay, the bad one.
I have to do my nutshell story of my first job where we had the gay list. It was written out and said the gay list. That was bugs in the game we had to fix. I'm not making that up.
So to bring that back around, you have Ken Jennings, who has been put forth as kind of this, and he's somehow lucked into or helped create or what have you, has social authority currency,
Yeah, he's a smart boy.
and is going up to bat for Bean Dad and all of his horrible blame the Jews and saying the N-word and all this other stuff. And you mean to tell, like, that's bad, man. That's harmful.
Yeah, I suppose.
So okay, the only reason I want to talk about Bean Dad, it's not that I think I have no like answer or solution, and I definitely don't think that the answer is like, no, if you disagree with like Bean Dad's tweets, like that's also wrong. It's like, I don't necessarily care whether or not Bean Dad continues on the thing. It's only the idea that like going after these rando people actually like furthers gets us any closer to our goals. It feels kind of like, oh, that particular cop that did that particular bad thing has been punished, therefore anything is fixed.
Yeah,
The
it's
system itself, like we're all going out after these symptoms and not after the actual disease.
It's wiping the snot off your nose, but not taking cold medicine.
Well, what
Yeah,
is
but
that?
you can also wipe the snot off your nose and fucking take the cold medicine.
There
Totally.
you go.
I'm neutral on that. I'm not gonna like
What?
be a part of it, but I'm not gonna like
can you?
besmirch. I'm not gonna besmirch anyone for doing it.
No one's saying, like I said, at the top of all of this, no one was saying it's a bad idea to take Trump off of Twitter. It's
Yeah,
just
take him off Twitter. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, do it.
Take Bean Dad
but-
off of Twitter. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
Take him off
do
the
it.
podcast. Fuck him. Like I don't care.
Like all of that's fucking all that is good fucking karma put in the world. But again, it's go for it. It's not. But right now the world's on fire. Like I said, it's right now.
Because he's on Twitter.
But yeah, because he's on Twitter. But like I said, it's
And saying go. What was the fucking he actually had like activating words like fucking execute rule 66 or whatever the fuck it was. I don't remember. It was,
Oh no! Did he say execute?
No, I mean, it should, because it's basically
Did he
what we
tell
would like
him?
stand down and stand by.
Does this make the Senate the Padawans?
Oh no!
execute Project Shadowhawk.
So right now, somebody put this screenshot in the thing in our group chat. And
All of us see it,
It's
yes.
a screenshot of Donald Trump where it's like, this tweet is no longer available. And then the one visible one is, I am asking everyone I can't do an impression of him at all, in the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. No violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Like,
Oh God.
ooh, that's
So, and you might have seen that Mick Foley asked to get Trump off the Hall of Fame. Cancel Trump off the Hall of Fame.
that one I support more.
And the funny thing is, they just want to distance themselves from him because it's bad. It looks bad for them, which
Yes.
is the essence. Which is also why they took Bean Dad's song off of My Brother and Me, because it looks them look bad. They know that. They know when they hear this asshole's voice. Oh, they know that guy. I'm not going to listen to this. They know that in the back of their head, and that's how this all comes together. And I hope I'm kind of making a point there.
You are, and I believe I agree absolutely with what you're saying.
Okay.
I just give the same amount of actual effectiveness of defeating fascism in the U.S. I think getting Trump off Twitter and getting Trump out of the WWE Hall of Fame do about the same amount to reduce fascism in the U.S.
I disagree.
Look, there's a lot of WWE fans who look at the Hall of Fame and,
Dude,
and respect the president.
Fascists love WWE. Trust me.
Yeah, believe me.
I follow wrestling enough to know.
Wrestling's a weird one because it has both like some of the most like progressive and cool fans and some of the worst people.
They literally have their old white guys to come back and save the company. They're having Oldberg come back.
There's one last person in Cancel Corner, and this is the
Miles
most.
DF.
This is the most personal one.
Oh, I thought it was gonna
So
be Minecraft dude who.
that's what
Oh,
the
that's
M in
moment?
his name stands for. He's Minecraft DS. That's what I will be calling him for the rest.
Oh, okay.
For the rest of today.
Okay, sounds good.
So
Yeah.
the only reason furries would
different
refer
guy.
to this person, there's I'm calling him Minecraft. I might edit his name. I don't know. Eh.
Miles DF. You mean the porn artist?
Look, if we want to deplatform this person, why are we
Hold
using
on.
their name on our podcast?
So people know to stop wanking it to it. I had to go through.
Yeah.
Dude, I had the most guilty wank. I'm going through. I'm not paying any attention. And I'm like, wait, wasn't there an artist I was supposed to go on follow? I'm like, damn it. I nutted to JSON effects again. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly.
So there's this furry artist, and the only reason you might have heard of them before was there was a previous entry into the discourse they made where they have a very, very high commission rate, which is absolutely not the reason I have any problem with them. I do not give a single shit what you charge for your commissions. Like, you can charge whatever you
good for
think.
you.
Whatever you think your commissions will get. But the reason they were previously in the discourse was they put out like a YCH and they're like, this YCH starts at $9,000. Like, it's very, 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 very high, which is fine. Great. Whoever can afford that $9K, I hope you really, really like the art they made you. But recently, the same artist did some commission where they wrote like America First on somebody's shirt. And then
A very busty dog girl or something is in a room or whatever. And I'm not even a boob guy. And they were well-drawn titties.
backlash for America First nonsense.
America
and
First.
then they in response drew like a vent art where it's like their character and they're getting like their mouth duct taped and people are pointing.
There's a
basically being like,
there's a lot of
"Fuck you
time
for
in between
canceling
that
me."
art
Yeah,
showed up.
The key important there, Pepper, like the most absurd part about it is he like waited till the party was over. It is pure staircase wit. Like the party was long gone. He wanted to say some shit, and then he stewed for like months, and he's like, I know
missed the initial. I didn't even see the initial out thing. I just saw that drawing come around and I'm like, who the fuck?
Xander,
Oh,
were
this
you
guy.
on board for the initial or no?
He drew some OC.
When it happened, the whole Miles.
Yeah.
What do you mean on board for what?
Chris, do you remember this? Do you remember like one of the? It's a vague quote. The specific line of the defense of the character wearing the shirt "America First."
Okay, so the America
it's
First.
bullshit because it's a very pro image, no matter how you dice it.
No,
or,
but you got to. All right, the reasoning was, you just got to. You got to trust me. You got to wait and see. I'm gonna do something with this character. You'll see. That was the defense.
This one is the most close to home because this isn't a person that has like even the. far more people listen to the My Brother and Me podcast and have heard Bean Dad's voice, like hundreds of thousands, millions, right? You think millions of people have heard that? Yeah, millions of people have heard that. Now we're talking about somebody in the furry fandom. The only reason this is like fascinating to me and so weird is the first thing I brought up. They're very, very high commission prices. So like this is a person who, even if in their heart they believe horrible things and want to make their America First drawings, all this dumb bullshit, it is baffling to me how you could take a community that you know is far more left skewing than like your average American and just throw a grenade into your own business. I'm like, what is the rule of acquisition here? Like, fucking get your shit together. How bad are you at capitalism? Like, you're a capitalist, right? America First. You must be pro-capitalism. How are you so shitty at capitalism? Don't let people know that you're an asshole.
Pepper,
It's like,
here's the thing.
Wait. What do you mean don't let
pieces.
people know you're an asshole? Look at our president.
well, yeah, don't
Look at
Pepper, they
every
do-
elected Republican. Look at Nancy Pelosi. Assholes are everywhere and successful.
Hold on. He'll be fan at capitalism because he does single pieces for people at high prices. There's enough rich assholes that'll pay him fine.
yeah, that's that's the thing I want to
His
leave with
audience
is, like,
isn't going away. His audience
do
is
you
still going to
think-
pay him.
Yeah, do you think that actually loses him even a cent?
That doesn't matter.
That's what I mean. So like Miles is at the top level of furry deplatforming. Like all
So don't
leftos
deplatform
completely
him?
agree that Miles is shit now, right? Like he's persona non grata. We all
Yeah.
don't like him.
Okay.
Do you think it will actually hurt them in any like material way other than socially? Like socially, the damage is done because, like you said, that they already had the big conversation, and now we have the like anti-apology art response, which is even fucking funnier. So, like,
so
what do you
funny.
think the outcome will be? What do you think? What happens from here?
I think it'll be some form of this. Life will
Like, they won't get
continue
GOH
on.
spots.
Right.
No, it's the Alex Jones effects. He goes to his own little corner. People pay him. And
Patreon.
Then, right. Anyway, go ahead, Dragger.
Well, that's kind of where it's getting. How many times did you see the articles coming out where there's these hardcore conservative men and women that are having trouble dating? Their careers are fine, but they're like, oh, it's lonely. Like, yeah, because you're antisocial. Like, it's not just money. Regardless of money, we all exist in our social beings, and there's that thing called the social contract. And as we evolve and get better at empathy, that is the thing they are offending. Who gives a shit about the money in this scope? Because you're right, they don't have power over a particular population at large. They're not running a giant convention that is propping up various small-time careers. They're not a voice of an entire thing. They are their own voice that's just shitty. So fine, they can go make their own money, and they might find out that their audience does diminish, and they might have to walk back from that at some point. I don't know. But the reaction of the canceling, to me, is like, well, at least the social contract's okay. At least we're not saying, 70% of the country is like, nah, you know what? Black people should be slaves again. Like, there is value in terms of reinforcing the behavior you want and don't want.
So the value we've gained really is just enjoying the fandom's response. Like, it is
No.
reassuring to be like, oh, good. They didn't have this opinion, and
There's
everyone just
value-
went, that's fine.
It's more than just enjoyment. It's letting people know when they fuck up and that was not cool. And we don't stand for that, actually.
I feel safer in a community that will call out those bad things. And like, as someone who perpetually does not feel safe, that's important to me.
Yeah, that's actually, we've encountered that in running chat rooms, that people thanking us for getting rid of people who didn't make them feel safe, for spouting bad shit.
And we're not talking about like cry bullying and being victims of people manipulating us into doing, like, taking an authoritative action in one of our little groups that should not have been taken. We're definitely drawing a distinction there, and you do have to watch out for people that will try and take advantage of that empathy.
Yeah, for the most part, furries do not incentivize that kind of behavior, and that's, I guess, the positive you can pull from it is, yeah, in general, if you act a certain way, like, you just can't, like, you can't obtain a ton of social currency if that's how you are. And usually it's people who get the social currency, and then it's like, surprise, I was like this the whole time. Like, so it reinforces my appreciation for and enjoyment of the specific furry community. Like, oh, we're the one nice place on the internet, and we still are, kind of, relatively speaking.
Because we call people out.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like
no.
I say.
I will argue the counterpoints thing of because we call people out, we make a inviting environment.
It's just to me about who. I don't think the calling out is bad. Like it's like with Trump. I do think he should be off Twitter. It's just like how much it actually advances a thing, and I'm scared that some people are basically like, haha, what leftism is, the way that we beat capitalism is by searching Twitter handles and slurs and making sure those people are removed from social circles. And it's like, well, yeah, that doesn't really like move the overall big needle. It's good for vetting your own personal community.
I don't want to name a name, but like I saw an acquaintance of mine post on Twitter that's like, all this shit's bad, but Biden and co is coming. Stay vigilant. And I'm like, what the fuck? Centrists getting in the White House doesn't solve fucking anything. And like you're echoing the same thing for what amounts to digital or Twitter activism. And I agree.
Yeah.
I'm glad Biden's there, but whether or not he does good shit is all I care about.
All the leftists I enjoy have been saying, okay, they have the power to do so. Now we have to hold them to be accountable. Exactly. No. They can do it. Now, if they don't.
It's that meme of the guy, the Transformers
Shia LaBeouf.
actor in green screen yelling, do it. Like,
Shia LaBeouf.
You've got the House, you got the Senate, you got the presidency.
We set you up. Fucking
No,
do it.
Pepper, they burned down the Senate, so we have got to pay for that shit now. We can't have $2,000 checks. Gotta
Oh my
fix
God.
the fucking Senate.
Every
it's
senator
literally
could
like,
use
all right,
a $2,000
we
check
set
right
you. You have nothing to complain about. You have your fucking milk, your blanket. I read you a fucking story.
Yeah.
Are you going to bed?
Look, we got to fix the Senate. We hired Tim Allen. He's going to be here. We give him millions of dollars.
Fuck. Get the fuck
Look,
out.
we have to fix this damaged house. So here's
man.
Tim Allen.
We put Tim Allen back on coke. This shit will be done tomorrow.
And
Are
everyone's
they
like,
actually
oh,
going to call it House Improvement?
House improvement.
House of Congress improvement.
and Tim Allen's going to fix the Senate. Like, I'm working for this, you lazy commies. And we'll be back to square one.
I think we need some Speaker of the House improvement.
Can we talk
shit.
about that?
Yeah, how all the
Because
Democrats shit on Nancy Pelosi and then vote for her anyway.
Yes, because that's how voting works, Pepper. I know, it's really weird.
That's how what works?
That's how voting works. Only, like, we have a first past the post system. Either Pelosi was going to win or the other guy was going to win. And by staying out of it for the first vote, there was no reason to vote against for the second vote. It makes no sense. I don't understand how you can vote as like ethically with blinders on to the rules and run into the wall and blame the wall. That's what
Seems
you're
like
doing.
the Democrats seem to very much understand politics when it comes to shit within their own party, where they're like, look, we have to make compromises because these are the people who lead the thing. And we have to like hold leverage over them to make them do this thing. We get that. But as soon as it comes to working with the party they're supposedly opposing, suddenly they act like they don't understand any of the rules or how anything works. Like we had this, kind of a new topic, I guess. We had a veto override that happened recently where people can say,
I would love to look up the truth of that, like the veto override thing.
truth of the truth of what aspect of it?
Could they actually do something?
Well, a veto
Mitch.
override, it requires a 2/3 vote to overturn a veto. Both the House and the Senate must a 2/3 vote to override a veto. So
Okay.
all that takes is 20 Democrats or something in the Senate. Like the Democrats are the minority party in the Senate,
Right,
but
so
they
Mitch
do
blocks the vote
have enough
then.
people. They do have enough people to prevent or fuck up a 2/3 necessary vote.
Then Mitch
So
blocks the
here's-
vote.
But we can
then we
block
never
his
get
vote.
there. No,
and
we can't.
yeah, but that's what negotiations are. You go,
No, you don't. You
Mitch,
just don't
I
have the
know
vote."
you want this. Do you really think Mitch McConnell would go, all right, that's fine. We just won't fund the military. He wouldn't come to the table for negotiations at all? Because that's what he's doing already. So what's the change anyway? Like, that's my argument. So the thing I want people to do, just for context's sake, Sanders and a few other people were like, hey, this veto override is coming for defense spending. The NDAA, the National Defense something. It's $700 billion to make sure our military can continue to bomb rando civilians in countries you've never heard of and can't find on a map. So
And our
that
own
was
citizens in those countries.
also true.
Obama.
So that vote would have denied the military almost $1 trillion in funding. And obviously, everybody who's currently in power is very pro-military because you can't not be pro-military. Blah, blah, blah. So we wanted these $2,000 relief checks, and McConnell refused to have a vote on that. So all you do is say, look, dude, if you won't have a vote on these $2,000 checks, not pass, have a vote on. Not even pass, not agree with, have the vote. If you'll have the vote on this, that is what it will take to make us vote the way you want and overturn and get this defense spending passed. And 41 Democrats said, whatever, we'll just vote with Mitch McConnell. And then turn around and say, Mitch McConnell is the problem with the entire government. That's my bugaboo.
Ugh.
Nah, I mean... So what the Democrats, I think, should have done is say, we will not have that vote until you have this vote, because that is politics, right? Like, that's how the Republicans get everything they want, is they go, we don't have this vote or pass this shit until you do what we want. And the Democrats just look at that and go, I wish we could do that. Like,
Yeah.
I do
Fucking
agree we
try
don't
it.
do enough of that shit. I do agree we do enough of that. Don't do enough of that shit, but I do wonder just the extent of what they could have done. And like, just like the Russian investigation was ultimately fruitless and hurtful. And
Yeah, 'cause
it was
it
good
was-
for us.
yeah.
Like, but I mean, I think he did a crime and I think it was all bad, but the American people don't give a shit. And that's what matters.
they went over they went after the stupidest crimes. He has this giant list of crimes, and
It's
they
not
went after
stupid
ones
at
that
all. They're
they can
actually
share-
really bad. But
Well, I mean,
that's a different discussion.
the specific ones that were in the articles of impeachment, I think, were lesser than other shit they could have impeached. That's what I mean.
I get you.
Like, yeah, the crimes are very important. They did not bring up his most egregious crimes. They brought up like, you quid pro quod, and he made the argument was like, yeah, everyone does that, and I'm sitting here like, fuck, he's right. Everyone does do that. Like, this is
Well, right,
just kind of nuts.
because it's exact. My brother is funny. It's funny. He asked me, "Oh boy, if they don't nail Trump to the wall and arrest him for this, I don't know what they can't for." And like, what are they going to arrest him for? He didn't physically do anything himself. Conservatives
go
worship
after all this
power.
weird
Therefore,
mob shit.
all Trump said is, "Go fuck them up," and they fucked him up. And he said, "I didn't fuck them up."
Discuss. Oh, last thing, Georgia. The Dems
No.
probably won the Senate. Probably.
Georgia.
And when I say won the Senate, I mean a tie. They probably tied the Senate. They probably have won both of the seats in Georgia.
Yeah, and Kamala's the tying vote, so hopefully that'll get the $2,000 checks out. We'll see.
Here's my prediction. No matter anytime they try to do anything actually cool, there will be conveniently one single, at least, Democrat senator who wants to vote against the thing. So we just can't do it because they're
Weren't there 2
scared they'll
years of
lose their
this
seat
with
next election.
Obama, where everything was blue, and look how much didn't happen?
They had a super majority. They had the 2/3 in
Everyone's
what,
like,
both
"Oh,
houses?
it's coming in. We got it this time." Like, okay, well,
Nothing.
Because there was nothing specific for them to act on. Now we have 2,000 checks out there. We have M4A. We have specific things we're asking for, and we have to ask for those specific things. We can't do what we did last time with the fucking Wall Street protest. Like, we're against money. It's like, wow, can't do anything with that fucking message. Anyway,
I'm ready for M4A because that's all I say because it's just very, very popular and very almost no Americans disagree with it when you like sit down and go, this is what it means and this is what we want to do. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
And most people are like, yes, I definitely would like to not pay whatever my premium is monthly. I'd rather pay a little bit like a $400 to $500 once a year tax increase, and then I just go to a doctor whenever the hell I want. And even if I have triple, quadruple brain cancer, that shit is all covered and there's no deductibles. Or yeah, when you actually talk to people, everybody likes it. So that's kind of been our harping point. And you know it's popular because both of the Senate dudes who just got in like to tweet shit like healthcare is a human right.
Yeah.
And then they do not support healthcare being a right. And when I say right, when you vote, no one says voting is a right. Therefore, we should campaign for more affordable votes. That seems ridiculous, doesn't it? They say healthcare is a right, therefore we should campaign for more affordable healthcare. That's not a right. That's you think it's a privilege that should be cheaper. So I'm really hoping they don't fuck this up for us.
so I was going to say, I have an argument for my conservative friends about M4A, is that we know so many people who are chained to their job they hate, that they perform way worse at because they do not enjoy it and they will not go to fucking be the best they can be because they're tied to their job for their fucking health insurance. Okay? They could go be somewhere else and do awesomer for the world if they went somewhere else. Don't you want that?
So I want to take like a pee break and then talk about soul.
Yeah, baby.
I was going to say, we're talking about capitalism. Can we address the fact that a mega capitalist company made a movie that has a message that's in direct opposition with the means the movie was made?
Yes.
We want to talk about popular movie that came out.
Yeah.
Set it up for it. Xander, this is like your idea in the first place. Set
it
up
was
for
my
us.
idea because Soul came out and I heard it was really good and Pixar's releasing it. I'm like, okay, I know nothing about this. This is going to be a good movie. It's released on Christmas. And as I'm watching, I'm like, oh, we have to fucking talk about this on the podcast. It is so relevant to I mean, do we want to? Okay, obviously we're going to go into spoilers. So everyone who has not seen it, I would see it first.
Yeah, this is the end of the podcast for you if you care about spoilers. There's a reason I saved this for the end. If you guys really want to stay, if you want to stay spoiler free, just stop now.
Yeah.
There will be no further
But
real.
we are
like,
going to
big
relate it to what
politics
we're
talk.
talking about. Definitely, don't worry.
Oh yeah, it will be relevant. But if you really don't want the plot of Soul, I don't. This is
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I think it's like if a movie is good or a book or whatever is really good, I think it's kind of unspoilable. And there was a fucking study on this where people
Yeah,
rated their enjoyment of books before and after the endings were told. Like there was a control group where they didn't tell them the end. That was
All right,
Sure.
I have
If
a
the
one.
ending is
I have
cool-
a one
Yeah.
answer counterpoint.
Okay,
The Usual Suspects.
I'm for
haven't
that.
seen
Yeah.
it.
No,
I
I'm
did
with
not
Gregor on
enjoy that knowing the ending.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's just not good.
Well, you do, but
The
you
fun
do,
is
but
half the fun's the mystery.
yeah,
got my
that's
fucking-
one of the cases where you're like, it's good if you don't. Technically, I think technically Luke's your father is also one that technically would be good if you didn't know. But like,
Yeah,
holy
'cause
shit.
I always
impossible.
knew that, and it was not a big deal to me.
Yeah,
And I
How
was
could you
bitter about that
possibly?
forever.
Imagine trying to watch Star Wars now and you start with episode 1 and like that's like what the fuck? By the time you get to the Luke I am your father quotes twist, you're like, yeah, obviously we watched
Okay,
you
we
fucked
can go
Padme.
into the machete cut of Star Wars effortlessly, so let's stop.
Yeah.
Surprise,
Okay.
this is not Soul, this is the Star
Soul
Wars prequel.
time.
Attack
This is-
of the Clones.
This is Pixar's attempt at a Best Picture. Let's get that straight.
Yeah.
I only wanted to touch on the fact that same feeling when you're talking about Luke, I am your father. It's the exact same feeling of like technically seeing Dragon Ball Z for the first time,
All right.
because Dragon Ball Z is actually a sequel to like a long-running original series that ran in Japan. So like the idea of like, holy shit, this thing that I grew up with now has a sequel, and it was Dragon Ball Z. And it's just like, what? Goku, the main character I watched grow up as a kid, fucked Chi-Chi? What? They had a kid? Wait, Goku's an alien? He has a brother? Is he fighting with Piccolo? Like,
Oh my
fucking
god, you're right.
180 blows it blows all of those fucking basic bitch things out of the
Piccolo
water.
is training Goku's son?
Yeah, like
What the fuck?
like the scope at which like, whoa, dude, this is nanners.
Yeah.
I want to submit Dragon Ball Z is the only anime that successfully did a time skip. Like, and it was
Oh,
good.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, I only like 4 animes.
All right.
And that's the one. I
Soul.
like. So about Soul.
Okay, yeah, Soul. Sorry, I had to get that. I never get to bring that up. It's a very specific thing.
Chris is
So,
our
like,
resident film expert, so I want them to go off.
Okay,
We're
so
assuming that everyone's seen this because we've already talked about spoilers, so we're not going to do like
Yeah.
a plot synopsis.
and
So
you
go
even had buffer with various things. So like
for it.
last
excuse.
stop, fucking yeah. Okay, so last stop, there we're here. Okay, for me, Soul. I like what Pepper was saying, where it was like, what Pepper was saying, where it was like, I want, I have what the movie was about, and what I think people are gonna pick up about the movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's that same it's the same duality. I really like that that you can talk about this movie. Like, it has enough to say, but the negative version of that would basically be saying that it toes so many lines that it doesn't matter. Like, it's not picking a side, so it's just kind of there. So if you went in with preconceived notions, you're coming out just feeling those preconceived notions gratified. Like, I don't think Soul is changing too many minds.
Yeah.
Gravity. Chris, I don't know why I thought your name was. I'm like, Gravity. Gravity, the comedy planet.
Comedy Planet?
What do you think the lesson people probably will take from it is?
Okay, so I think the lesson is
The
learning
theme.
about. Okay, let me trying to remember. I'm still very high. I ate too much gummy.
All right,
Okay.
I'll pitch one while you think.
Go for it, Dragon.
Go for it. Yeah.
I think the lesson that people will take away is it's not too late to find your, they call it purpose, but I'm going to call it meaning in their life.
Yes.
Yeah, like stop and smell the roses. That was
Thank you.
the-
I was
No.
literally just thinking that.
No.
Yeah, the basic.
No.
Hold on. Those are
that's
two
what-
different things.
Yes.
Well, no. See, that's the thing. That's why I say it toes this line, because I think it strongly is what you pull from it is strongly what you went in fighting, like your battle.
Well, okay. So
if you slow
personally,
down, you'll enjoy life more and you might get more out of it, is what I think most people will take as the main push of it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're so busy trying to get the thing you think you want, you didn't get the thing you wanted.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
jump to
so-
what I was telling Xander about while I was watching it with me, and I would say that would be the more likely message if the movie ended at an hour and 20 and didn't have that weird fucking last 20 minutes.
Oh, I think those are the most important 20. Yeah, keep going.
I think the last
I
20
agree.
minutes undercut what actually is a good, healthy message.
Agreed.
The last
And what do
20
you think
minutes
that-
was about their how do I get into this without going into the all right, their world basically posits that there is this otherworldly force and that human life is only a part of it, and they heavily imply that there is some form of fate or predestination, and that if you don't do something with your life, you have somehow wasted it. And I
Yes.
think a lot of people are going to take some form of that message away, and I think that's a bad message.
Yeah.
I
And that
also got that
message is
message from it.
codified in the last 20 minutes. If it stops with him at the piano and he lays out all of these little things where his only focus during them was to get his life back, this thing he was clinging to, and in fact, he just celebrated the adventure and decided, hey, I've made mistakes, but this is how I'm going to live here on out, that was awesome. And then the movie kept going.
That was a beautiful message. I agree with Drager on this, and I'm from the more of the Alan Watts story, and I do not care about how people think of me after my funeral, and I do, obviously, but I don't care about what happens at my funeral. Like, I am here to make my every moment better and how I affect people in my everyday life of, like, there is this moment now. Time is a flat circle. Motherfuckers.
Dragor talks about trying, like, how the goal of the main character was to get his life back.
Yeah.
But what struck me as part of it was, the his life part was incidental. The thing he wanted to get back was the job that he got and then couldn't perform. Like, he thought the key to his life was, I just gotta play a gig with this big deal person and become a professional jazz musician, and that will fix my whole life. And then the fact that the whole thing, you're like, they're gonna like build this up to, surprise, the side character is gonna have to play that gig for them and hijinks will ensue. And it's like, no, he plays his gig, he fucking kills it, he owns that gig. And then the lady's like, he's like, what happens now?
Yeah.
He's like, we just do it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like this is-
Caroline came along and said, listen, motherfucker, we're in the goddamn ocean.
this is
Based
just life,
Caroline
man.
was fucking on.
He
Okay,
works his
okay,
whole life
so-
to try to
so
attain
you-
the goal.
Okay, so what you guys are touching on is this core thing that I think applies specifically to Soul, and that is this idea of the story, like does the story is the story for or against the starving artist lifestyle?
Yes.
Yes.
It is definitely for because it lives off them.
Okay, so yeah, just get each one of you. I want to hear your one-word response. Do you think it's for or against the starving artist lifestyle?
For.
Either, depending on what you already think.
That's what I say. That's what I got out of it. Because like I said, I'm sure Pepper related very much specifically to him because he was an English teacher trying to gig his part-time
Choir teacher.
You were a choir teacher that was part-timing while you were trying to become a famous artist. Like, there's
have
a
you guys ever given up your dream before? I did. I was supposed to be a professional basketball player, and I was the best player of my team for 15 years of my life. So I know what that feels like.
Yeah, but what I'm just saying in Pepper's case, it's very funny because it's very similar to his story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I almost wish they could remake it, but instead of it being a musician in a big gig, it was like he's a fucking grocery store employee and it's like assistant manager promotion. Because I think the movie, like the actual themes are going for, I don't think would change at all, but the way people think about them would. Because in this one, he just happens to have a quote glamorous job where it's like you get to do a show and people go woo, but people act this way over what I just said. Becoming fucking shift manager at the Applebee's is some people's get that huge gig and my whole life will improve and be better if I could just get this.
Yeah.
And then you do and it isn't. It doesn't change your whole life.
I mean, from my place of privilege in my own career, it's been stepping stones of, okay, well, I like computers, give or take, and well, if I just get this next programming job, this will solve the things. There's still problems. Okay, I've got this next one. And I have right now, it's a humble brag, but I have, as far as luck is likely to dictate, the best possible capitalism job that I will ever get. It is like the 1% of the 1% of what an average person in programming can get as far as comfort.
Code.
And I still fucking hate it and resent it.
Oh yeah, 100%, because of a certain element of a lack of agency, and you're still within like. But again, then there's the mystification of being a musician or being a creative person.
The movie,
and then that mystification
it makes it a more interesting movie.
And it makes it feel like you're working. But again, you're still within that realm. What's up?
One thing I really want to hit on, and this is really important to me, is I was like, what bothers me so much about this fucking movie? And I think it was all exemplified in the stockbroker scene. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, hi, Alkali.
Like, yeah, and then both me and Miko just look at Alkali, and it's just like, fuck.
I choose to see that as, he attained class consciousness. He figured out the whole system is bullshit, and he opted out of it. I'm like, yeah, get there, man.
It's like, man, Alkali wishes he could do that, but he has a bunch of fucking responsibilities. Imagine that. I mean, it's so easy for them to make that fucking joke when you live off the people you fucking exploit. And that's what pisses me off the most, is passion and getting your spark is so exploitable. That's what that documentary taught me the most. Crocodile Hunter, or what the fuck was it? The crocodile guy. Help me.
You mean, are you talking about Tiger King?
Yes. He got people to work for shit wages because they wanted to pet
like
the
the cats.
fucking tigers, and that made them feel alive. That's why they could let their arm bitten off and say, I didn't want to hurt the fucking park, because they would sue the park if I sued them or if I went to the hospital. And someone has their stub arm and said, yep, I love working here.
So-
I'm following my passion.
Let's go to the negative one. How many animators had to work on like 3 frames of this movie doing particular hair things and had to do 12+ hour days, go home thinking, ugh, should I kill myself? While the movie is about finding your spark, when they're active, like the recursive nature of the making of this movie, I could not escape it. I could not separate viewing this thing from the fact that Disney Pixar made it.
It matters who's telling it.
Visualizes it.
Well, okay, and like here's the thing: Pixar for many animators would be a dream gig. That would be like the
They
big
think
gig.
so. Would it actually?
I got my dream gig and I hated it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what. So, like I said, you win, and that's something that when I was watching it, I was like, I wonder what Xander would think because of that exact thing. Because I knew you went through that same experience, and I thought, I wonder what Pepper would think because this guy's Pepper. Like. I when I was watching it, I was like, this applies weirdly specifically to a lot of the people I know. This is fun.
Right?
Yeah, and so I was, like I said, that was a thought process that ran through my head. But that's the important difference. It's this idea of, like, do you give in to tall poppy syndrome? Do you not give in to tall poppy syndrome? When you've officially made it, it still worked, because at the end of the day, doing anything exerts effort. And when we feel, and we're challenged, and we think of ourselves as an individual, and we have our little hero's journey, like, leaps through the day, and like I said, and obviously this sounds like I'm trying to, like, talk down, because it sounds like everyone has problems, but that's not what I mean. I'm saying it's like I said, you get tired doing shit. It's like totally fair.
That's why I got so mad when he's like
that,
reviewing his life in the fucking laundry room, like taking a rest. Like, dude, you just got off your shift. Whatever. you ate a Snickers bar for one, and you're mad about it. That's so weird.
Yeah, but like I said, so what I think, like I said, what I like most about this movie is that it is a discussion. That's the key thing. You can have a discussion about this movie, and I don't think it's gonna like cause a fist fight. Which is good. Which that's part of why I ultimately love this movie. I'm like, yeah, fucking two people can talk about it, and it doesn't result in like I'm going to burn you or I'm not gonna burn you. So it could potentially change a few minds. Like, yeah.
Like, it has shit to say, which is fun.
Yeah. So like, I totally agree with that. Now, again, I don't think it touches upon, but because, like I said, because I just never was able to tell which side the writers were taking, and I think that was part of why they did it. But also, I know why they did it was because it's a Disney film, and Disney can't be controversial; they can just be edgy.
You can't go all the way with the ideas you might want to do because this movie has to play to,
like I said,
it has to play to an international audience. It has to play to.
If all they remembered was Base Dorothy's speech about the ocean, that would make me happy. I don't know.
So, all right, I want to present, I guess, what I would love for us all to do this, like what my interpretation of, I guess, what I want people to take from the movie. Like, here's what I not even think the movie is about, what I choose to decide the movie is about.
All right.
So the whole thing follows this guy who's just chasing after a job. And I almost wish it wasn't. I realize why it's a musician, because like that's interesting in a movie. Watching someone do music is much more interesting than watching someone like, haha, I did this office job to the absolute best of my ability. But what it seems to come down to is he's looking for, it's like a movie that's about the concept of alienation. The fact that you can succeed so hard on paper at what your job is, but these external sources of validation are just not nearly as meaningful as like the person-to-person connections that humans desire because we are humans. The times when he's the happiest is when he like talks to his mom and like deals with his personal shit, hangs out at the barber shop and makes personal connections with
social
people.
connections.
Yeah, that's that's when he's truly happy. And then he succeeds at his job to the highest level. And you mentioned Hero's Journey, Chris, because when this moment happened, I basically screamed out, Hero's Journey!
Yeah.
He does the gig. He achieves the thing he thinks that he wants, and it isn't actually the thing he wants, and that's just like super classic Hero's Journey. Then he has to go back and become the master of both worlds, which he does. Like, this movie follows like Hero's Journey shit very, very closely, and that's funny.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to ask is like, yeah, he wants to be a jazz musician, but why? Why? It's because why do you want to be the jazz musician? Is it to affect other people? That's a social thing. Is it like,
Yeah, and he doesn't seem to, like, he personally likes music, and that seems to be the start and end of it, where, he doesn't have a way that it relates to either, like, like you said, inspiring other people, even inspiring himself. Like, he just seems to, like, music's the thing I'm good at, therefore I will do it, and I like it. And that only really gets you so far.
Can I give the negative interpretation?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's really the start and end of my thing. Go for it.
The negative interpretation is that the movie is actually 100% capitalistic, and this is the agenda. Finding your spark under capitalism makes you a better worker for whatever it is you do.
Find your role.
The whole point of the name of it being called a spark is that is a singular moment. That is the instigator. It doesn't have to continue to be that or at all. And I was telling Xander this while we were watching it. I'm like, how much of it is the movie focusing on the spark because that is important, and then people take their own meaning of, once you have the energy, you can do whatever you want with it. But at the same time, they like many characters fetishized or fixated on the thing. Graham Norton's psychedelic character was there to call that out, where your hyper-focus turns into your prison.
Dragger. It's the conservative idea of you'll be happier if you are doing the things that you are supposed to be doing. You'll be happier if you get married, if you just be straight, if you do that thing. There's that
the movie
idea.
does address this directly. Do you guys remember when the little like line Mac logo looking characters
he was
were like,
Jerry.
"Oh, you think the spark is your purpose for life? Ha ha ha! That is so dumb." And I'm like, I very appreciate that line. I really appreciated it.
Yeah, like I said,
It's like, no, there's a spark.
It was a Jerry.
That's not the
it wasn't
purpose
just a
of your
Mac
whole life.
logo.
And they almost brought that up with the
our
barb.
phenomenal cosmic beings are fucking doodles on an Etch-a-Sketch named Jerry and Terry. Get it right. That is the creation mythos.
I think that's what the barbershop character was for, because they wanted a character where they're like, yeah, his spark was X, but the fact that he's like a barber and helps his community and like has all these like strong relationships.
So can I go next?
Go.
Sure.
Okay, so for me, when I was looking at that conversation, there were points, because like I said, the whole idea was there was a point at which I remember thinking about it, because I was watching the movie and I was enjoying it. And I was like, I was kind of offended.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I was like, so
By the spark concept, yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of like passive aggressive like mom digs, one by his mom, but technically like the guy in the barber shop who was like, he was all like, wow, I really enjoyed talking to you. How come we never talked before? And he was like, you never asked. You always want to talk about your passion. And he's like, oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I guess that is true. Like that's like a dick move, which technically it is, because almost universally some level of narcissism if you're a creative person, because you walk on stage saying, I do X better than everyone else, you should listen. Like there's a certain level of inherent narcissism to it. So like I said, so it feels good to be like, yeah, fuck narcissism, because no one likes an arrogant dickhead either.
Some people do art because they can't express themselves in a way or at all. They feel like that's their outlet, and that's how art is social.
And so, like I said, so once again, it's this idea of this person is like, they're like, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, we get it. It's important, but like, you got to pay the bills. So then you find a way to pay the bills. And then it's like, you just enjoy it, because the alternative, yeah, go ahead, follow your dream. You became the artist, but guess what? You still got to pay the bills.
Right.
Not much different, huh? But it's really kind of arrogant for fucking people that literally hustled to do that, to then go, it's not that great over here, don't worry about doing it.
Yeah, mixed messages is my best summation of soul.
I like I said, part of me, I interpreted that and I was like, well, fuck you guys. Yeah, of course it's easy for you to say it. You've already succeeded. It's like a fucking libertarian being a rich person.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, of course, like a capitalistic interest group worked for you. So yeah, now you're a fan. Cool.
It's like Chris Jericho. So yeah, man, you can do it. Go chase your dreams. Like, fuck you, Chris Jericho.
You already got him. Like,
you donated to the $4,000 to MAGA, went to a goddamn bike rally and shit. I know what you're all about.
That's the episode title. Fuck you, Chris Jericho.
There you go.
But yeah, so like I said, but me personally, the thing I want people to take away from it, and I think is a really healthy thing ultimately to take away from it, and something that never is touched upon and is rampant in our current culture because of the neurotribe, the way family structure like emotionally has changed due to the internet, because it's no longer your friends and your world was heavily focused on your immediate surroundings, but because of the internet, you can now you build friends and groups structured around things, and that's the idea of like a fandom. Like, it becomes more and more popular. Not that it wasn't a thing before, but it becomes more structured and like serialized. Of like, this is what a fandom does. It has a lifestyle. There's like a study of it. So the idea is, fuck, what was I saying? Oh yeah,
signifiers of furry.
Yeah, furry is a good example of it. But the idea is, it changes that. So what was I saying? That you can't let one thing define you.
I agree.
Like, it's very unhealthy to attach yourself to one thing. Whether you're like, I'm a Whovian, like that can be unhealthy if you're like to a crazy degree or whatever.
Oh, it helps with the whole neoliberal mode anyway, where everyone has to pick a category,
so like I said,
isolate themselves, and become one cog in the machine.
Yeah. So like, what I would like to see people take away from this is like, yes, of course you have your spark, of course but it isn't all you are. You can expand upon that. You can do other things, and that's healthy and that's okay. And they don't all have to be your thing. And
if they hadn't done that, the spark would basically be like a justification for eugenics. It's like, oh, you are born a certain way, therefore you will only do. You are a milk cow. You will produce milk. That is your calling.
It's the idea of like, if you say I'm INGJ or whatever, and you're like, that's my type.
INTJ.
Can we go over? Can we address their world though? That someone is consciously deciding these awful things. And not that, like,
the idea was that they would put them in a kindergarten and they kind of pick their own thing.
No,
Well, they
no.
point
There was
them
a
out.
scene where the one's like, all right, you 5 are gonna be insecure, and you 12 are gonna be
I
self-righteous.
do remember that. Yeah.
It's just
Asshole.
it's just the meme of people pouring shit into buckets where they're just labeled with shit. They're like,
Okay.
when God made me, water, insecurity.
A conscious being in that world chose to inflict mental illness on people. It would have been completely different if they were shepherds and were like, we don't know how they're going to fall out. Turns out these 5 are this way and these 12 are this way. That would have solved all of my issues with the fact that conscious beings are creating things with suffering that don't need it as if it's a virtue. Like that Christian
Jerry's a
suffering
dick.
is a virtue thing in this movie bothered me deeply.
I don't know.
I do
They
feel
intent
that.
that it is.
Like from a joking standpoint, I really like that as like a bit, like the idea of like, okay, yeah, that's a very weird rule to take from it, but fair.
It's a funny bit, and I don't think they thought about it that much. But yeah, when you
Yeah,
think about the
that's-
implications, it's kind of horrifying.
I want to do my.
Yeah.
Can I do my
Like, so
take
that's
real
a-
quick?
That's a,
Yeah,
go
Xander.
for it.
Go for
Okay,
it.
here's my soul take. Is people think I'm shitting on it. I loved the movie and I cried during it. It's definitely one of my favorite Pixar movies. And that said, I still have all these problems with it.
We
Like-
all agree it's very effective as a film, like well animated,
Yes.
well voiced, good music.
I
like,
fucking
technically
loved Soul.
excellent.
The problem I have is who is telling it. The messenger matters so much to me, and that is so apparent to me now. Like, I
You
hope
hate
kids,
Jamie Foxx, I get it.
not Jamie Foxx.
No, Pete
Like,
Doctor.
yeah, there you go, Pete Doctor. Like,
Who's Pete?
I hope kids like, oh, that was a great message. I hope they like take away the live every moment and the it's the connections we make with each other, with the memories, like all on the piano table, all that kind of stuff. But I hope they like grow up and it's like, oh, this was released by Disney during a pandemic. And at the end, they said, "Go home, motherfuckers."
They did. They kept the theater release. And why are you
They
still
did.
here? The movie's over. Go home.
It's like I am home,
Ooh,
motherfucker.
Can I mention? Can I
Yeah.
mention one point about
Do it.
the? Okay. I really like that in his hall of important moments in his life, the fact that he played piano with his fucking dad in like a big moment was not in there, but he remembered it at the end. And it's like, okay, so that wasn't an important part of his life then? But eating Cheetos were? What the fuck?
Dude, like, okay, my interpretation, my way too generous interpretation of that is he was unhappy when he was thinking of the person he should be, and that's very important to me.
Yes.
Oh, also my important part is the most important scene of the movie is his conversation with the girl. The main character's relationship with the 12-year-old girl at the beginning of the movie. God, that sounds terrible. Sounds like I'm talking about a completely different movie.
It's Tina
No.
Fey. She's a fucking adult.
Epstein
No, not
class.
no, not
No,
Tina
no, no,
Fey.
the
I mean
student.
I mean her student.
Oh, the trombone lady. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
trombone kid. Because she gets in the zone. She's a little reflection of him, and it's the idea of like. Once again, it's this idea of he's like, oh shit, you know, his relationship with her is so fucking important because not only is it his relationship with someone that was at the turning point that she was with a similar passion to him in like a literal sense, but the important part of that comes in she embodies both of those messages, both of the ideas, because her beginning message is, I'm 12. What do you mean the zone? I don't get what you're fucking talking about. Like, it's just like something I like to do.
Yeah.
And then the reverse of that is, I really think I should quit this thing. And then she's like, she talks herself back into not quitting it because she talks to someone else, basically saying, yeah, you should quit. Well, no, I don't want to quit because I really like it. So her growth and her arc, she's the real hero of this story.
Oh yeah. She's like my
Technically.
favorite character in the movie.
Yeah.
or
like I said,
or
she's-
the fucking the hippie guy was my true guy.
Oh,
too.
yeah,
Norton,
yeah.
yeah.
yeah. But
Oh,
it's
that's
the
Graham
idea,
Norton. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know
but
any
that-
famous people.
But like I said, it's the even our protagonist who does go on his own little journey or whatever. Our protagonist learns that if you're keeping to apply it to the hero's journey aspects, he learns that he's already become a fucking hero because you fucking become a hero by maturing. That's part of the core mechanic of storytelling. So like he's already a mature dude. Now he needs to learn to be the old man. He needs to go from being Goku to Master Roshi.
Yeah.
So like to keep it Dragon
Without
Ball
the
Z, I suppose.
pedophilia.
Without the
Yeah. Don't
Avoid that
don't treat her
part.
like he treated Bulma. Oh no.
Yeah, don't be
all
weird
right,
about it.
I know I'm
Don't
gonna
be
risk.
weird about it.
I know I'm gonna risk going long on this. There was another thing that rubbed me the wrong way in the movie, and this is directly applicable to my life, and that's the things you should, heavy emphasis on should, pursue are the things you are essentially already good at.
Yes.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like, that is such a negative factor to my life. Thought Slime has a series of great posts and video on this for himself. He just liked the idea of skateboarding and started picking it up. He is not good at it. He is never going to be great at it, probably, but he likes it and he's going to do it. Like, it's only if you have this goal of, if it's important to you to be on the level of Tony Hawk, that's different. But this movie's trying to sell you this message of find your place in the world, in your community, be happy. Oh, by the way, you have to find the thing you're good at? Like,
Yeah.
who
But
cares?
I think if I were to say something, if I were to defend that point, if I were to just counter that point, I would say that the barber represents that.
Very important
Working.
character.
Yes.
Yeah, because the barber found his thing, but it didn't matter. So the idea is it technically doesn't matter if you find your thing, because you'll eventually just find something else. Because, like, we all agree, the movie implied that the spark, his little, like, wheel, was veterinarianism, but he also figured out he liked cutting hair.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They've intentionally made it a non-predestination thing, and I'm very glad.
Yeah,
about that.
and so like I said, so arguably, like I said, if I were to counterpoint, I would say, while it's not the best representation of it, it is in there, that the idea of whatever part of the spectrum where you fall on this, like, idea of, like, do you pursue what you are passionate about, or do you find a stable living condition?
Really brief return to mental illness they chucked out. Like, remember, like, the key moment when they get body swapped and she's in his body and she's just like, I can't handle shit, and she just, like, goes in the corner for a bit. I'm like, oh, they're doing, like, a mental illness thing here for a second, and then they just move right on. I'm like, oh, are they, like, trying to say this lady's autistic? Is that what's okay,
That was my
moving
thing
on.
right
Anyway.
away. The sensory
Yeah, like-
overload. Like, how are you
Yeah, the
supposed to
fact that the loud
participate
noises
in
fucked
this
him up.
when you've got a shitty dice roll and you're just so severely disadvantaged?
Yeah.
The other, I wish, it's like Chris said, I wish the movie would have gone up farther with some of the themes, but because it's this big, gigantic world release commercial film project, I understand why it doesn't.
Yeah.
But it seems, they touched on so much little stuff I wish they would have gone farther into.
All right, I'm going to make a bold prediction. It's going to win Best Picture.
That is a hill anyone can die on. I have not even remotely. If Inside Out can get Best Picture over Amelisa,
No.
yeah.
Actual Best Picture, not cartoon Best Picture.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
that'd
Maybe,
be fun.
Maybe,
That
I mean,
an
nothing
animated
came out
movie
this year,
hasn't
so yeah,
won
good.
yet, right?
Correct.
I don't think ever, no.
Pixar
they
was
made
the
a whole
first to
new
get
division.
nominated, I think.
It's inclusive. It has representation. It has a message that Hollywood people can nod along to and not think too hard about, and that is very important for the Oscars.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked, especially in the year 2020. I would not be shocked if it does win Best Picture. Actually,
Yeah.
like if there's any time a cartoon is going to suddenly win Best Picture, this seems like it's it. What the hell else?
When a
came out?
cartoon's been in office for 4 years, why not now?
When a cartoon is.
All right, we got to wrap up.
We do got to wrap up. Hey, let's end on, like, what's your favorite, like, non-deep scene in the or aspect or just thing in the film? Like, I don't want to steal everybody's
What
thing,
was
but just
the funniest thing you thought
Okay.
about Soul?
Well, I'm a 3D animator, and it was 3D animation porn because it was so fucking well animated. Watching the cat and the guy and
Oh my
struggling
God,
in
the
the hallway,
world.
so good.
stylized
Oh,
characters,
yeah.
but the world looked like the water looked like real fucking water. The cement looked like real cement. I'm like, ultra
yeah.
realistic environment with stylized characters. Yes, I'm so into this.
One of my favorite things was I am positive the first version of this script said live action animated.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah, figure it out.
100%. So I really want to see the version of Soul where all of the on Earth events were fucking live action.
Wouldn't take that much change even, except for like
No.
the cat scenes, I guess.
A little bit, but but we've gotten pretty good at CG animals in general
Yeah.
because it's cheaper.
Oh my God, when
And
he's like
more
talking
ethical.
to his mom and shit. Oh, it just feels like real scenes between real people.
Yeah, 100%. It is super real. There were scenes. I'm like looking at the back. I'm like, is that just a picture of like a room?
A real, a real house.
That's just like a room, right? Oh yeah, his fucking house. For a brief moment, I was like, that's just a room.
Yeah, it's just a photograph. It's a photograph. I've seen this piano. All right,
Yeah,
my
I was
favorite,
like,
my
oh my
favorite little
God.
aspect was the fact that like the spiritual guru dude who ended up like helping him was a fucking sign spinner. He's the guy standing on the street corner
Yeah.
who's just spines, and he's like he gets in the zone like his meditation as he sign spins. Like hell yeah, like, it's just it's just good for me. And it wasn't like a one-off joke. They go and meet him in real life, and he's sign spinning. There's like several bits with him. Love that.
Yeah. His sign spinning comes into play because they can't get the the fact that
gotta
he has
start
a
spinning.
shitty boss is like he's like, all right, we'll do it later. He's the ticking clock. Like he actually sets the ticking clock. You're like, whoa.
What about
Like I
you,
said,
Dragor? What
real,
did you enjoy?
real hero.
I like a lot of the stuff everyone's mentioned. The Sleepy Dust's Twilight Sand Dunes were gorgeous, but my favorite was, and I don't know how much is just me being knowledgeable of it and reading into it, or how much people who wrote this also really, really, really like physics, but the universe they portrayed heavily implies that it's simulation theory of the universe, especially with the various effects that they used to portray going in and out of Earth. A lot of that was heavily... To me, it looked like a lot of various nods to, like, you see some extra RBG shadowing that they did not, like, that was not an accident. Someone put that in there. The way it seems like there were various visual things that implied, like, a resolution of the universe metaphor, which if you get into, like, Planck constants and all that crap, that was very fun. I don't know if I'm projecting into it or not. I would be very happy to find out that that was intended.
It's like the team from fucking the Carl Sagan thing that got remade, not Nexus.
Cosmos.
Cosmos, yeah, like they took like some like actual scientific theory of blah 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 and then like turned it into an animation. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. I think my favorite like thing was that the like gods of the universe, the creators of all things, were like Australian. Like you don't see a whole lot of like Australian like gods. Like
Australian or South African. I'm pretty sure it was Australian or New
it
Zealand.
sounded Australian to me.
Right?
It might like I said, it might have been it might have been fucking, Kiwi, but like it's hard
Hey,
to say.
Australian
Like,
fans are gonna get real mad if they aren't. They're like, "What? You think
Yeah,
we
what the
you think we sound like that, governor? Crikey! I'll kick your ass or whatever the fuck we say."
But yeah, man.
Oh man, I'm getting used to that with Auntie Donna and those guys and shit. Those other
Yeah,
New
like I said,
Zealanders.
I just really liked the idea. Like, oh, cool. That's not a thing you see ever.
Oh, totally.
I've never seen. I don't see a lot of Australian media, so yeah, fun.
All right, did everybody get to go? I don't want to cut anyone off, but we do need to cut this off. This is already going to be an almost double-length podcast. You're welcome, everyone, by the way.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
Alrighty.
That's the size you get with the Comedy Planet.
Comedy Planet.
Gravity, the Comedy Planet.
Gravity the comedy. All right.
I'm so
That's the name
glad
of
we
the
found
show.
our spark today to get together and talk about politics and coups and stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad too.
Me too.
And I mean, if anyone's listened this far, holy crap! Thank you very much. We are Last Minute Politics, or specifically our core three of Xander, Dragor, and me, Pepper Coyote. Chris, the Comedy Bunny, is our guest today. You should check out their material. They have a YouTube channel. We will have links to it wherever you are listening to this. There will be a link to it.
The best way to find me in hopes to fighting the algorithm is look up Comedy Bun. That's what I'm trying to use to fight the algorithm. That would be your best
Bun.
bet. Comedy
B-U-N.
All one word.
Yep. All one word.
Yeah. If you guys want to support us, you can send us money on paypal.me/lastminutepodcast.
/
So I always say backslash.
I
don't
know.
if
I'm
anyone
surrounded
pays
by
attention.
people that say it wrong.
It's because
It's a
someone in my
programmer,
life
not
said, somebody on that fucking cartoon on Toonami,
I don't
Reload or
understand
whatever
the
it is, said
logic.
backslash once.
Look, you
Because
look at the
you
top of
start
the dash.
from the left.
If the top,
No, we read from left to right. Hear
Yes,
me out.
and the
Everyone
first
does. Have you ever
piece
read a manga?
So for them, it's / or / and it's different for them. For us, it should be / or /.
For
I would like
Americans.
up slash down slash. That'd be cool.
Xander found his old man hill. He's dying.
Yeah.
Look,
Nobody's
forward
taking
slash.
my fucking. This is an American slash.
Look.
That's what we're calling it. A freedom slash.
freedom slash. No, a freedom slash is the vertical pipe to represent centrism.
Right.
I was actually gonna say a freedom slash is my move, and I use in Final Fantasy. Freedom slash.
That's your overbreak.
Yeah, that's my overlimit.
America made with the freedom slash.
America made with the freedom slap.
All right. At this point, the exit theme has been playing for half an hour.
All right.
We'll see you next week, I hope.
Bye.
Bye.